Hello and welcome to The Life We've Chosen, a short little story developed by Cryoslight, and it's about handling your inner demons. I guess we'll see what that means. Let's go. Let's start. Alright. A warning though, this game contains mature themes such as mental illness, mainly depression, and unhealthy relationships. I wasn't going to come here today. I'm gonna have work all day tomorrow, make up for my distracted mind. Hold on, let me just real quick. For some reason, I like it when the text speed is a little bit like, a little bit movement. I don't like it when it just pops out entirely like that. I don't know. For some reason, it just doesn't feel right. Anyway, I was gonna work inside until nightfall. I decided to only do a few hours in the afternoon. It should have been easy enough, but in the end, I couldn't even handle that much. It's just one of those days. It's always one of those days. It's one of those days. I like the atmosphere though. I like the fog. I always mention how I actually like fog as my favorite weather. Just as my thoughts begin to wander, the demon appears. Yes, very casual. Just, hey, what's up, demon? They always seem to manifest themselves out of thin air when I'm not looking. I never learn. Their large form is hunched over and wrapped in a tattered cloak, just like on the day I first became aware of their presence. Though the seasons have changed, the demon has not moved from this spot. They initiate conversation with me. Instead, or rather, they never initiate conversation with me. Instead, it's as if they offer me the choice to leave and pretend we never saw each other at all. I do not leave. Hello again. The only response I get is a sleepy rumble in the back of their throat. What does that sound like? Like that? No. Sometimes I wonder if my visits annoy them. It doesn't seem like the demon ever has anything else to do, but that doesn't mean I'm not an inconvenience. I remind myself once again that if I was a bother, the demon could simply remain hidden from me. It's not like I could force them to show themselves. These meetings are their choice too. It's been a full year since our first meeting, hasn't it? The lake's been obscured by the heavy fog once again. I kinda miss this haze. There's something comforting about it. The demon doesn't respond. It often takes some time to get them talking, as if they need a moment to wake up. But perhaps they're simply taking their time deciding whether the conversation is worth having in the first place. Are you cold? After a calculated pause, the demon draws a raspy breath. Their deep voice reverberates somewhere in their chest with untapped potential, but still, the sound that comes out of their beak-like mouth is barely louder than a sigh. The weather does not harm me, human. You will be wise to redirect your concerns. I have an extra blanket I can bring you. I don't know, that's just a funny line to me. Hey, I don't know, Mom. I don't need to wear another layer. Mom. No. I knew there was no point in making the offer, but the demon's predictable answer amuses me regardless. The calm I felt after arriving here didn't last long. The plans I made for tonight invade my mind out of nowhere. I can't stay long today. My friend is coming to pick me up soon. The one you've spoken of before, I presume. You remember? Her name's Ella. I don't know if I told you before. I have no interest in your names. Right, I probably wouldn't either. It would be tactless for a human to say such a thing, but the demon's bluntness is refreshing in a way. You won't have to memorize many names for my sake. I have very few friends. It's really just Ella, and perhaps the demon themselves. It feels presumptuous to think of the demon as my friend, but what I don't say out loud they won't know. I'm fairly certain they can't read minds. Totally. The demon shifts ever so slightly, adjusting their cloak. I still can't help thinking they must be cold. Your visits to this place have become more frequent lately. The observation makes my chest feel tight in a familiar way. Have they? A year ago, during the darkest days of fall, I also spent a lot of time down here. I had just moved into the small and cheap house up the slope, alone for the first time in my life. The house was suffocating, I had very few things going on in my life, and yet everything felt like too much to handle. I didn't know what to do with myself without anyone at home to perform happiness for. What a weird thing to say. Or, well, I'm not weird, but like, specific rather. Very specific thing to say. The lakeside felt like the only place I could breathe. It's happening again, isn't it? An idle glance at the demon reveals to me that they are waiting for me to elaborate. I guess I like it better here. Better than your dwelling, you say? Yeah. Perhaps you should look into finding a more comfortable home. I can never tell whether they're joking. It's not the building that's the problem. The problem is all the things I need to do there, and all the things I need to think about. It's too much sometimes. I see your kind is still obsessed with arbitrary responsibilities. You're not wrong. When I'm here, I feel like I could just exist in peace, I suppose. It's nice. A fallen leaf lands silently in the moss growing from the demon's body. I've never once seen them move. Since our first meeting a year ago, they've never failed to show up when I've come looking for them. Are they really here all the time? My curiosity is great, but the topic's a little too close to home for me to address directly. Do you like it here? The demon draws a raspy breath before responding with an audible exhaustion in their voice. It does not matter whether I like it here or not. I am here, and that is what I've chosen. There's a sense of finality in their words that stuns me for a moment. There are many more questions I'd like to ask, but in that moment I realize I'm late. I'm sorry, I have to go now. I can't make Ella wait. Do not apologize, human. Oh, look at that freaking blue leaf there. Hilarious. What a funny, quirky demon. I catch Ella just as she's getting out of a car in my driveway. Also, by the way, why does everyone just like have bags under their eyes? It was just lacking sleep, you know? Just like me. All the time. Anyway, if I left just a moment earlier, I would have had time to go back inside and pretend I'd been there all day, but now it's too late. Hey, aren't you cold like that? Where's your jacket? I'm fine. Where's yours? Don't need one in the car, Dumbo. What were you doing in the woods? I was just about to ring your doorbell when I saw you. I make a panicked sound while I try to think of what to say. I forgot to come up with an excuse. I ran into someone. Who? A neighbor? Kind of. Kinda. Who was it? I hesitate. I hate lying, but I still need more time. When I tell her about the demon, I have to do it the right way. By the way, I've been meeting this demon casually, just right there. I feel terrible for lying to her once again, but I just don't have the courage today. It was just someone from the area. I don't know where they live. Ella makes that face that tells me a lecture is coming. Don't you remember what Miss Bailey taught us in first grade? Don't talk to strangers, especially not in scary places after dark. We're not children. No, but you live alone. Who's gonna help you if something happens to you? I mean, that is, you know... That's not wrong. She knows I still don't have an answer to her question, although she's asked it many times. I shrug in defeat. Well, I'm sure you remember I've a spare room in my place if you ever need it. How could I forget when she reminds me about it every few months? Thanks, but I'm fine. I just worry about you, you know that. Ella bites her lip to appear endearing, although I know it's a trick. I have to admit it kinda works. After making sure I saw her display, Ella puts on a peppy face, seemingly satisfied for having guilt-tripped me out of arguing back. Okay. Anyway, let's go, shall we? We can't have you running out of canned soup again. We get in the car. What a weird interaction. You know, this Ella. She's very sus. I can't stop thinking about Among Us. I've never actually played the game. The memes have overtaken my brain. I just think everyone's sus now. Sorry about making you do this right after work again. No, I'm kind of glad. It's good for me to see friends now that things are over. Well, Elijah? Is it Elijah or Elijah? Sometimes the J is silent, I feel like, in names. Elijah? Elijah? Elijah. They are. Ella doesn't even try to hide the bitter disdain in her voice. Then I tell you, he doesn't want to make the move into a crappy little town like this. His words, not mine. I hadn't realized it was that serious. I feel slow for not having made the connection on my own. A better friend would have seen the signs. Anyway, it's for the best. If we got married, we would have been Ella and Elijah forever. Can you imagine? Ella Elijah. It sounds wrong, doesn't it? I guess. You, on the other hand, have a super rad last name. Maybe we should get hitched? Yuri? Were we still in middle school, I would have blushed at a joke like that. I would have kept thinking about it for weeks, trying to decipher whether there might have been some genuine interest hidden in it. Now, however, we're older. But then, you would have to deal with me every day. You don't want that. Hey, don't pretend you know everything about me. It became dark outside while we did our shopping. I should be good for another 2 weeks. As I'm loading my groceries in the trunk, I catch Ella watching me from the corner of my eye. What? Did you know Sally owns the hair salon now? Her boss left and went back to school for a second degree. So it was my neglected hair that caught her attention. Figures. Okay. Again. Oh. Good for her. I was thinking we could go see her sometime. You haven't seen her in a while, have you? It'll be fun to just show up randomly at her workplace sometime. Maybe, I don't know. Wouldn't that be kind of rude? What? No, she'd be happy, I'm sure. I doubt she gets many customers on her own anyway. Her boss was the good one, you know? Don't tell her I said that. Ella looks thoughtful as she locks the car trunk. Do you think Sally doesn't like you or something? No, nothing like that. I just thought it would be bad manners for us to show up without warning. You think too much sometimes, you know that? It's not really a big deal. Desperate for a change of topic, I glanced at the locked trunk, pretending to have remembered something. Oh, I was going to get garbage bags. We can go back? No, I'll get them some other time. I have 1 or 2 left. I don't know if I can drive you next week. Will you really be fine? I have a bike. A bike you hate using? I don't hate it. I just haven't had reason to use it lately, thanks to you. I try to give Ella an appreciative smile, which probably comes across as forced, but she accepts it gracefully anyway. You're welcome. Some very jazzy tunes there in the grocery store. The moment I get home, thoughts about tomorrow invade my mind. I have nothing to distract myself from the dread of having a full workday ahead of me. Yeah, I was wondering, we're living in kind of like a remote part of also the world. That sounds like, I don't know, doesn't sound right. The world. No, well, we kind of live, I guess, a little bit far from civilization. But I wonder what our job is like. I don't know. What do we do for a living? How do we afford these soup cans? Normally on an evening like this, I would escape to the lake, but even I would feel embarrassed doing so twice in one day. Perhaps I still have some dignity left. I end up going to bed too early. I practically ran out the door when an email arrived. Something about my performance. Low words per hour rating. Ah yes. Are you doing, what's that? I did look up a little bit about freelance writing and how you you write for some kind of mill. What's it called? I forget what it's called. But it's kind of like just copywriting, I think, or something for like random articles. And not really good work, but I'll never be good enough, will I? I really tried my best this week. After that one day when I couldn't handle anything, this was supposed to be an easy side job anyone could do. That's what they always say. That's what they always say. But then it never is, because in order to actually make a living off of it, you gotta spend a lot of time, doing it in the first place. That's what everything, I guess. Everything creative anyway. People never mention, how much work it takes to actually get work. You gotta work to get work. That's one of the big rules, or that nobody tells you. Anyway, When I arrived at the lake, I almost want to cry, but I managed to calm myself with a deep breath. One thing at a time. Today everything is still alright. I tell myself, today I'm not falling apart. I won't think about it today. I addressed the demon beside me. There's something else on my mind, an idea that began forming a few days now. An idea that could take a lot of pressure off of me. Can I bring Ella to meet you? Only after I've asked the question do I realize I'm not sure if I even greeted the demon properly today. My obsession with the idea may have overridden my manners. Luckily, the demon isn't concerned about manners anyway. They respond in a sleepy, uninterested tone. It is your life and your choice, human. You do not need my permission. I would still like to have it. This is your home. There's a long pause, longer than usual. When the demon finally speaks, it's with reluctance. I do not presume to know how your friend will react to meeting one of my kind. However, in my experience, these events rarely end well. This path could lead you to much suffering. Perhaps it will, but that's not what I asked. Do I have your permission or not? The demon sighs submissively. You do. Alright then, I'll bring her sometime soon. Thank you for looking out for me. Judging by their surprised reaction, the demon isn't used to being thanked. I should try saying nice things more often. In order for Ella to react well, first we need to find a costume to hide this demon in. No. In order for Ella to react well, I'll need a plan of some sort. How do I introduce a demon to someone who's never met one and probably doesn't believe they exist? Quite a conundrum. You haven't even told me your name. I have no name. There's a subtle tightness in the demon's voice, just noticeable enough to tell me I shouldn't push the issue. I always do that, by the way. When I read something, I always accidentally mix up the pronunciations of the word that I'm reading later on in the sentence and what I'm actually reading, because you read faster than you speak, right? So anyway, I was saying push and issue at the same time. Anyway, I'm just thinking about how I'm going to introduce you to Ella. A name isn't necessary, but some kind of descriptor would be good to have, I think. You will figure it out. You're useless. A lack of reaction immediately makes me regret what I just said. I'm sorry, that was a joke. Humor is not new to me. It has changed very little since its conception. It was still a bad joke. They don't seem offended. I make a mental note to watch my mouth regardless. This isn't Ella I'm talking to. When did I start making the same jokes as her anyway? I've never even liked that kind of humor. She likes to make friendly jabs, but a jab is still a jab. She wasn't like that when we were young. We're like a sarcastic type of person, I guess. You gotta be careful of that, And it depends, actually. I've read, actually, there's cultural differences when it comes to that. For example, British humor is very different from American humor. When you are sarcastic about something, it's usually obvious by the tone of your voice and the context, but in British culture, it's just context only. So when someone is sarcastic, they say it the same way as if they're sincere. So it's very confusing, I feel like. But anyway, I closed my eyes for a bit. Now that I told the demon about my plan, I feel both relieved and anxious. I was hoping relief would be the frontmost feeling, but it isn't. A cold breeze from the lake causes a shiver to run down my entire body. Return to your dwelling. Nights like this are not meant for humans. I don't want to. This is all going to change. Next time we meet, this will all be different. I'm a little scared. What of? I don't know what Ella's gonna think of this, of you. Already you are having second thoughts. No, I'm not. I've made my decision. I'm not gonna keep you hiding from her as if you're something shameful. It is a matter of honesty, then. Yes, but it's not just that. I lose my nerve before I can articulate the difficult thought in my head. I can feel the demon's watchful eyes on me. Where do they get the patience to always wait for me to sort out my thoughts? I don't know, they probably have nothing else to do. I've got nothing better to do, you know. I'm just bored anyway, so you might. It's hard to imagine Ella or anyone else being that interested in what I have to say. Perhaps that's exactly it. I've been thinking, and for a long time it's been like Ella and I don't really see each other. We talk often, but I feel as if she doesn't really hear me. I don't think she really knows me at all. I want her to understand me better. I want her to know what's really going on. What is going on? The question hits me hard. It shouldn't have, it was just a question, but I forget to breathe for a moment. What is going on with me? Am I just hallucinating this weird demon thing and this is like a metaphor for something else? I don't know. Anyway. Let's save the game. Sure, let's pick the first. I mean, you know, these all seem interesting options. Let's choose the first one. I don't know. My voice is barely whisper. Why am I shaking? I just don't know. As warm tears pour from my eyes, I had my face in my hands, embarrassed and shocked by my own reaction. The demon makes no sound. Maybe they've left. Even they must understand this is a humiliating situation for a human. I slowly raise my hand, keeping my eyes on the ground until I've gathered up the courage to face reality once more. They're still here. I can't read their face, not with the tears still gathering in my eyes. I think about apologizing, but I don't know what for. What is there for me to say? I'm exhausted. The demon speaks in a quiet, regretful tone. I apologize, human. It was not my intention to upset you. You need not sate my idle curiosity. It's okay, it was just a question. No, it was a callous question. Not once have I asked if my presence was causing you pain. You're not. It's not you. I really like our talks, I look forward to them. It's hard to fit this in with normal relationships. I use the word normal without meaning to, betrayed by my own tongue. I don't even care about being normal at this point, I just want to be. I want to tell her about you and I will. I just don't know if it'll I can't speak. I just don't, I'm just crying so much. I'm just crying so much, role-playing the cry. No, I just don't know if it'll go over well for her. That's the only part that causes me pain. The demon chooses their words carefully. It's not up to you to try and influence your actions. However, I believe it would be wise of you to rethink your decision to tell such a beloved person about me. I do not wish for you to suffer any more than you already have for my sake. I wipe away my tears defiantly. I promise I'm not doing this for you, but for myself. Telling you should bring me some peace of mind, I hope. As you say. Although the night is still young, a wave of drowsiness sweeps over me. I could almost fall asleep standing up. That's quite the feat. I mean, it is possible, actually. People have done that. They have slept on their feet before. A demon's silent presence is an immense source of comfort. It would be so easy to lie down and sleep right here, knowing they'd be watching over me. It's a selfish desire, and although I'm not bold enough to act on it, the thought brings me solace. However, it would be really bad for my back to sleep on these really hard rocks, I guess. Well, I guess if you're really close to the coast, close to the coast, but I guess if you step back a little bit, there is some grass. Anyway, actually, I would hate that. I actually hate camping. I actually don't want to like touch grass. Ironically, I don't like touching grass. It's full of bugs and like dirt and everything. I don't know. I don't like sitting on grass. Anyway, a gentle nudge on my left shoulder. It wasn't warm or cold. It's as if it wasn't there at all, but I know I felt it. I look up a little embarrassed, and the demon returns my gaze with the same hard-to-read eyes as always. Their voice, however, is soft. Return to your dwelling, please. Although I prefer to cling to this moment a little longer, I can't deny the appeal of their recommendation. As I gather up the willpower to get moving, I realize my joints ache from the cold. The demon's common sense proves to be better than mine once again. I don't know what to say after that. See you soon. See you later, alligator. I slept and dreamed of ominous but strangely comforting scenarios that night, all about failure. Reality couldn't possibly be worse. Once morning came, I was not afraid. Having made the decision earlier, the action came easier than I thought it would. When Ella arrived on my driveway, I simply asked her if she'd like to meet the neighbor I mentioned before. I tried to make the invitation as quick and casual as I could so that I wouldn't have time to talk myself out of it. Ella was clearly reluctant, but she agreed. I was hoping I would suddenly gain enough courage to try and explain the situation to Ella, but it didn't happen. I still find myself avoiding her questions, I'm afraid. The only way I can be honest with her is by taking her to see the demon in her own eyes. Ella stays close to me on the path to the lake. This is getting really creepy. Why can't we meet them at your house? We're almost there. During this short walk, I must have told Ella not to worry a dozen times already. We begin to descend down to the lake. The demon is there, waiting for us as they promised. They must have sensed our approach. I turned to Ella. Whoa, what is that? Some kind of... And it hits her that what she's seeing is not a statue but a live being. Her face contorts with shock and then horror. I've got to calm her down. I speak up using the most soothing tone I can muster. Come on, let's go talk. She doesn't respond or move. It's as if she's frozen in place. My words don't seem to reach her at all. Without warning, she grabs my hand and I'm suddenly being dragged back up the hill. Ella, wait, there's nothing to... I trip on something and nearly fall over, only kept up by Ella's stubborn grip on my hand. Hurry! Stop, Ella, let go of me! She doesn't stop until we arrive at her car, panting and frazzled. My shoulder is in pain from getting yanked around so violently. I'm so angry and humiliated I can feel the sting of the tears behind my eyes. Why could you stop for 2 seconds? Ella ignores me. For a minute we just lean against the car and catch her breath. Eventually she speaks up with a stern tone. You can't stay in this house. Come live with me. This again? Now? You're joking, right? I'm serious. Let's get you out of that house. Please. You have to get out. She's overreacting. This is even worse than I thought was possible. I don't want to lose you. I'm not going anywhere. I've never seen her so desperate before. Her voice is strained with concern for me. You don't know that. It's a demon. You don't know what it can do. You know, this is very, casual response, to be honest, to a demon. I don't know. Personally, you'd be like, what the hell is that monster? I'm gonna call the police or something. You know, even though the police... I mean, in every kind of story of, a monster or a demon, the police never helps. But anyway. I don't know. This feels very casual. The demon would never hurt me. How can she suggest they would? I trust them. They've been more honest than either of us, actually. It's a demon. What do you think demons do? They trick and seduce people and all that. I know. I watch a bunch of movies. Well, since when you have even cared about stories like that? You decided to start caring just now? She breathes heavily. I realize I'm doing the same. How did it come to this? We've never fought before, not like this. With every breath I regret this night more and more. I've ruined everything. It's manipulating you. I don't think so. That's really nice, but how can you know? How do you know it's not going to hurt you? I guess I don't. I can't bring myself to acknowledge it out loud. For all the deep conversations we've had, I barely know anything about the demon. Suddenly there are tears in Ella's eyes. Despite everything, it pains me to see her upset. I almost can't stand looking at her. I don't want to lose you. I want to reassure her somehow, but I already know nothing I say will help. She's not going to understand what the demon means to me. I try to blink back the tears, but it's useless. This is all useless. Ella. She's very close. My heart begins pounding again, but the catalyst is not fury this time. You've never been this close before. Ella's hands reached for my shoulders. When was the last time she touched me? On the school playground when we were 10? This is different. This can't be. No, she wouldn't. Would she? There's no way. She's not interested in me. She's never returned my feelings. My feelings? Yuri? I don't even know what I feel anymore. It's all messed up. I'm so tired of trying to make sense of all this. Maybe if I just let Ella guide me. Okay. Save the game. Sure. I close my eyes and trust myself to Ella for the moment. She knows what to do. I feel her warm breath before her lips touch mine. Is this how it's supposed to feel? It's definitely not the perfect magical kiss described in the stories, but stories are just stories. No real kiss measures up to them anyway. I still don't understand what's going on, but it doesn't feel wrong. When Ella ends the kiss, it turns out I wish it had been longer. Alright, smooch. As it turns out, this will, again, I was under the impression this was a horror game. But no, actually, it's a Yuri romance game. There's a moment of silent contemplation between us. I realized I barely did anything to contribute to the case. The case? The case. The case. No, the kiss. For Ella, it must have felt like kissing a dead body. Or a dead fish. Like sushi. No, what about the demon? Ella shakes her head as if to shush me. I'll help you get through this. You'll forget about this weird stuff soon enough. What are you saying? Your stare is as cold as steel. Promise me you won't talk to it anymore. I think I knew it was coming, but the bold ultimatum still gives me pause. She's really making me choose. Why does it have to be so dramatic, as if it's like a visual novel or something? I know why. If I hadn't shown her the demon, this wouldn't have happened. This is my own fault. If I hadn't done what I did, I could have stayed close with both Ella and the demon, but now it's too late. She won't be happy unless I leave my time with the demon behind. Okay. Save the game. Sure. Fine. Yuri. I've never really given her a chance. She's always trying to help me out, but I have kept rejecting her advice for years. Maybe I should have just listened to her from the start. Well, we know who's the top in this relationship. I'm so glad. I still don't know how to feel. This is also happening too fast for me to understand, but at the same time, it feels as if this is how it's supposed to go. I've never believed in the saying, love conquers all, but maybe if I give it a chance, and then, and then it becomes a very cliche story, maybe I'm finally strong enough. Maybe I've always had it in me, I just didn't know until now. Ella lets out a relieved laugh. Wow, after all these years, huh? Everything's going to change. I knew it would, but not like this. Well, it's been 3 years now. It's been 3 years and she still comes home every day wearing the same smile she's always had. Likewise, I'm the same I've always been. I'm the same I've always been. Is this really what she wanted? This quiet life with me? I have nothing to offer her and I doubt I ever will. I'm not built for this. She'll grow tired of this someday. It's just a matter of time. I hope I'm mentally prepared for that day when it comes. Sometimes when Ella's staying at her parents' house, I get on my bike and head down to the lake like I used to, even though I know the demon's not there. They've left me. I understand why. I left them first. I didn't visit them for months after I moved in with Ella. They must have thought I left for good. Still, I keep hoping someday they'll return to this place. Guilt gnaws at me every time I sneak off to go to the lake. I still can't be honest with Ella. All she's ever asked of me was for me to forget about the demon, but I'm not strong enough to even do that much. I keep breaking my promise to her over and over again. I call for the demon, but they do not come. I've tried apologizing. I've tried sitting in silence as we often did. I've even cried. I've tried everything. If there's any chance they'll come see me again, I'll keep doing this. Even when I'm old someday, I'll keep coming here for as long as my aging body allows. I still haven't learned anything, have I? There you go. Yuri, but still depressed ending, I think, is what this is. I don't know. Something like that, but it's the first ending. Ending 1. Well, there you go. Well, this game does have multiple endings, so let's check out the other ones as well. That was a little unsatisfying. We got We got the girl, but at the same time, doesn't feel right, Alright, let's go back here, by the way. So, we tried to get Ella to meet with the demon, but then she's like, no, that's a demon, let's run away, and we ran away with her, and now she's getting close to us. The first time, we accepted her kiss. How about we don't this time, I guess? What happens if we do that? No! I'm not into girls. Icky. Girl cooties. A look of disgust flashes across Ella's face. Why are you like this? What are you afraid of? Nothing. It's a lie, but I now know I can't trust her with the truth. You're gonna be alone forever. So what? Is that so wrong? Maybe I want to be alone. Maybe I want to be single. I am taken aback by my own harsh tone, and so is Ella. But I realize I don't regret it. Her expression changes from confused to defensive to angry. I stare at her as if daring her to argue back, but no more words come out of her mouth. The weak part of me wants to apologize. I've clearly wounded her, and that's something I've always been afraid of doing. However, it isn't my problem if my confidence hurts her. It isn't wrong of me to be honest with her and with myself. She's not going to convince me to second guess myself tonight. Not ever again. Leave. I don't let her shocked face sway me. She waits an embarrassing amount of time before getting in her car. I bet she wants me to change my mind and beg her to stay. Well, no more car rides, I guess. No more free Uber rides. I won't give her the satisfaction. Recalling her words threatens to make me angry all over again. She wants me to abandon the demon who's been the one bright spot in my life this past year, the one person I've truly looked forward to seeing. How can she claim to care for me and then make a demand like that? I'm more hurt on the demon's behalf than for my own sake. Ella didn't even give him a chance. By the time I have the thought to go and apologize to the demon, my feet have already taken me halfway down the path through the forest. I arrive at the lake to find a demon there, just the way they were earlier. I walk up slowly, subtly unsure of what I want to say. I give them a bashful glance, but it's difficult to look them in the eye. I end up speaking to the lake rather than directly to the demon. I'm sorry. Demon inhales, clearly exhausted. I am too. For a moment we just exist in silence, separately but together. The lake looks the same as ever. The night's events have left me wary, but at least I still have this. Is your relationship with the red-haired one mended? No. She said some things that hurt me a lot. I'm finding I don't really want to talk about it. I didn't come here to lament the loss of a friendship that has been causing me more stress than joy for years. I'm sorry to hear that. It's not your fault. I think this would have happened sooner or later regardless. I'll grieve later. To be honest, I feel better. I was under the impression she was a beloved friend of yours. I thought so too, but it seems that was my biggest mistake. I think I'll be better off without her. The familiar lakeside and demon's presence have calmed my nerves in mere minutes. I can breathe again. The pale gray lake ripples softly. Ella has no place here. I should have known she wouldn't understand. It's just the demon and I'm at peace with that. Suddenly, something changes. The ground beneath my feet shifts just a little, or perhaps the entire forest does. The demon is moving. His big bird wings, and it really does look like he just has hair metal. Hair metal hair. Is that the right word? I don't know. Like old metal bands. The crazy hair. Anyway, they stand up slowly, every ancient bone in their body snapping to their rightful place, one by one to make the motion possible. The terrifying sound echoes through the forest. Somehow, the demon doesn't seem to be in pain. Their face looks the same as ever. They must have done this before. Repairing their broken bodies seems to be only a matter of will to them. The little twigs and leaves that once rested on their stationary form have fallen off, and there are even feathers? The demon's cloak falls off their shoulders, revealing the torn remains of a pair of wings. Countless dark feathers flutter to the ground, twisted and lifeless. There's something viscerally familiar about the sight that makes me nearly tear up on the spot. I understand, I would say, if I could bring myself to speak. Even while standing on 2 feet, the demon still appears hunched over. They look terribly old, weighed down by a millennia of pain and indifference. I feel an overwhelming desire to take their hand and steady them like one would do for a feral grandmother, but I know I'm far too small to support them. It is time then. The voice is distant. I've never realized just how softly they speak. Time for what? My departure. What? I feel as if I swallowed an icicle. You're thinking of leaving? But this is your home, isn't it? It has been. For a time. Do not feel sad. I will find another. Why now? The demon avoids eye contact with me. They speak once again in that calculated tone that leaves me feeling disconnected. When a human, a temporary being, desires to grow, it is only right that my kind make room for them. I will move for you, if that is what you desire. I didn't ask for this. I didn't ask for this. Puts on like weird sci-fi glasses that are orange. Anyway, they didn't have to do this for me. I never asked them for anything, but regardless, I've become a burden again. I never said I wanted you to leave. As if caught off guard by my broken voice, the demon looks at me for a brief moment. They can't seem to hold eye contact though, as they speak with a wavering tone. You've lost something dear to you tonight. Whether you admit it or not, this occurred because of me. So what if it did? It was my fault too, and hers. Especially hers. My jaw clenches painfully. It's her fault the demon feels guilty. You will surely begin forging new relationships soon enough. When you do, it is for the best that I am not in your way. I don't want to believe their words, but they seem convinced. You really believe this is the right thing to do? Human lives are short. They're better spent with your own kind, not with old relics such as I. Don't you agree? Is this really how it's supposed to go? It doesn't feel right, but the demon does have an infinite amount of experience in this subject. He's like level 999, so much XP. They're right to warn me about introducing Ella to them as well. I know nothing compared to them. The demon regards me with a soft gaze. Let us close this chapter. Save. If you think it's for the best, I guess. A tangible sadness hangs in the air. There are things on my mind I've been wanting to tell the demon, things I won't be able to say after they've gone. I should make their departure as painless as possible, but I'm gonna become a silent RPG protagonist. Although there are so many things I want to express while I still can, I hold them all back. Speaking would only hurt both of us. The demon knows this as well. They face the lake without looking back. I close my eyes and the demon takes a step forward on the dry grass. Farewell, human. I wish you the best. I open my eyes to find them flooded with emotion. The lake ripples like always, blind to the tragedy that has just occurred. I raise my head knowing I won't see the demon beside me anymore. Even their torn feathers on the ground have vanished. The soothing sound of their voice, their unchanging comforting presence, all gone. I'm crying after all. For a moment I really thought I was gonna make it without crying. I almost made it. Alright, well that's the second ending. We don't get the girl, and we don't even stay friends with the demon. The demon goes away too. Wasn't worth it. Let's see. So we're back here, where the demon is saying like he'd like to leave and everything, right? And well, what happens if we say, actually, you know, I want you to stay though? The demon doesn't say anything, they won't even look at me, but their hell breath doesn't go unnoticed by me. I know they heard me. I speak with more confidence this time. If you want to leave for your own reasons, I won't stop you, but I want you to know I miss you terribly. I'd rather you stayed. My departure will make your life easier, would it not? It is difficult to exist in two worlds simultaneously. You've expressed this sentiment yourself before. Yes, but I don't just want an easy life. There are other things that are just as important. I just didn't know what to look for or what I even wanted. I think I found someone worth hanging onto in you. You've become a part of my life, a part I really treasure. The demon gazes at the grey sky with empty eyes. Even nature itself is silent with tension. As if in slow motion, the demon collapses onto their knees. Before I know it, I rush to their side. You alright? They refuse to meet my eyes. This close, I can feel their cold, scentless breath all around me. The demon gathers their strength for a short moment before speaking in a sorrowful tone. I've been lying to you, human. I presented you an indifferent facade, but the truth is, I am afraid. The centuries I have confined myself to this small corner of the planet where I thought pain would not find me, but I've come to realize yet again that there is no escape from it. Were I to leave now, my core would still ache each time you cross my mind. You left your mark. You would become another human in my memories whose life I made worse, another human I made suffer, another life I ruined. You haven't ruined anything. I trailed off as I realized the demon wasn't done speaking. And if I stay, something far too soon, I will lose you regardless. Or someday far too soon. I think I knew. Hurts to be an undying entity on Earth surrounded by beings who could never stay with you for long. I knew, but I've put them in the exact position they were trying to escape. I'm sorry. If I understood earlier, I wouldn't have pushed my company onto you. I'm sorry for that. The blame is entirely mine, human. Do you regret it? The time we've shared? The demon shakes their head suddenly. No. Every moment we've shared has made my existence a less lonely one. If only for a short time, I could never regret any of this. If you don't regret it, then isn't it worth it? Perhaps for me it is. However, your life is limited. By spending it with me, you will miss out on so much. I don't want to miss out on you. I know it now. This isn't wrong. It never was. I thought it had to be wrong because that's what everyone says, but I come to realize I was just scared, as I always am. I wish I'd seen the truth sooner. I don't know how long I'll live, but I want to make the most of it. I think the best version of my life includes you. A mournful sound makes its way out of the demon's throat, but they cannot bring themselves to speak. My own voice shakes as well. I can't promise I'll live very long, but I can promise I'll try. I'll try my best and I'll take damn good care of myself so that we have as much time together as possible. The demon breaks into silent sobs. Air reverberates in their ribcage with every broken breath. I can only watch them as warm tears stream down my own face. There's no question, however, my heart still says this is worth it. I speak although my voice is thick with emotion. If I promise you that, will you stay with me? A rattling breath flows through the demon's lungs as they collect themselves. Yes, I will stay, human. Call me Willow. Ah yes, we finally learned her name, by the way. And also the demon's name. Willow. You may call me Haze. Such a simple name for like an ancient being. Somehow we formed a habit of watching the sun set together every night, regardless of season or weather. You think the routine would get old after a while, but it turns out every sunset is different from any other. Every quiet conversation we share in those moments is likewise unique. A gentle gust of wind ruffles the demon's feathers, but they don't seem to mind. Maybe it's pleasant to be out of the forest every once in a while. It is for me. This one's nice, isn't it? I've seen better. I've seen better. This was I rated 3. I rated 3 out of 5. That's not fair. Of course you have. Haze looks down at me with a soft but melancholy look in their eyes. I regret you won't be able to see the full range of beauty this planet has to offer. You would enjoy those sights more than I will. I sense the immense sadness behind their words, but I won't let them dwell on it on an evening like this. Haven't you heard? Beauty is subjective. If I say this is the most beautiful sunset ever in the history of Earth, you can't prove me wrong. Hayes almost chuckles. One day I'll get to hear what their laugh sounds like. Probably sounds demonic considering they're a demon, but perhaps this is the most beautiful one then. It is an odd feeling knowing Hayes might be here watching these same sunsets 1,000 years after my own existence has ended. I'll likely never fully comprehend what it's like to live for an eternity. I'm just human, after all. Hayes has never asked me to be anything more. I put an extra effort into my smile. Hayes, when I'm gone, watch the rest with someone else, alright? Hayes doesn't respond. I'll miss you, their eyes say. I know, but this year a feeling has been growing inside me. It's a confident and non-apologetic feeling. There's one thing I'm sure of, one thing that keeps me from succumbing to the hopelessness I used to center my life around. There are people out there who will love you even if you don't. I don't know if Hayes believes me just yet, but as the sun begins to sink below the horizon, I'm certain they will. I'll make sure of it. I'm glad you asked me to stay. I can only smile. There's nothing else I need to hear. We still have more sunsets left than I can count. Alright. Friendship ended with Ella. New friendship with Hayes. Basically, that meme about... Anyway. That's ending number 3. And I believe that's the last ending. There's only 3 endings in this game. I guess that's the best ending? But yeah, there are other choices you can make, I guess, in different branches of the game, but it only changes some of the dialogue, I found. So there's not much change in the actual ending. So, either I guess we end up with Ella, which she's a little toxic, so I don't know how healthy that relationship is, I guess. Or we end up letting the demon leave, we just end up by ourselves. Or we actually just get the demon, I assume? I don't know. I assume there's some kind of romantic implication, I guess. I don't know. Maybe not. Or maybe we're just really best friends. Who knows? But anyway, I guess, yeah. Again, this definitely was submitted under Spooktober, so it's meant to be like a Halloween. I mean, I guess the demon itself is the actual design does involve a monster, I guess. But really, this really just reminds me of of romance. This is just a love story. I feel like, I don't know. Or maybe not a love story. What do you call it? I'm not sure what you call it, but romance / drama kind of thing. It just feels like a love triangle. I don't know. Anyway, but there you go. Not very scary, but more somber, I guess. I mean, which is the point of the visual novel, I assume. It's supposed to be kind of again, well, somber, I guess. Melancholic, I guess is the word. Melancholic, sad. But I guess it does have a happy ending with a monster, I guess. Everything. I say monster, demon, whatever. So the moral of the story is to, make friends with a weird demon, and everything will be great, I guess. No, that's not the moral. Anyway, but yeah. Well, I mean, the real moral of the story, I guess, is to, believe in yourself. I guess, be more confident with what you want, and not just let your life be led by other people, is the idea. There's something about dependency in here, I feel like, some kind of metaphor about that. But anyway. But there you go. That was interesting. It was interesting. Definitely a little slow, though, but not too bad, I feel like. Anyway. So that was it for the life we've chosen. If you didn't know, if you're on YouTube, I stream these games live on Twitch, so check me out over there if you're interested. And I also have other playthroughs on the YouTube channel, so you can look for those if you want. So thanks for watching. Until next time, see you then.